Welcome back, everybody, to another market day. I am your designated Inquirer. My name is Axel, and it is 9/3/2020, the day everybody held their breath, it seems like. At the moment, even, we are making new lows on the day. It is after hours. It is currently 3:54 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So over in California, it is 3:54, nearly 4 o'clock, and the market is still dropping after hours. For what specific reason, it's kind of hard to say. If we take a look at the news a little bit, take a look at the news, see if there's anything coming down the pipe, which it doesn't look like necessarily there's anything in the news that just dropped. Nothing. So there isn't anything necessarily that happened. Ooh, interesting. A Neiman Marcus bankruptcy, hedge fund founder arrested over it. Interesting. So it looks like there's been some shenanigans happening apart from everything else that's happening. But in any case, so today was a spectacular day in terms of the market. It was spectacular. To the downside. But more than that, let's take a look at what happened with everything that we've been seeing in terms of let's remove all of these studies real quick so it makes it nice and clean. For the most part, I'm going to go ahead and remove these drawings because I have to re-add them anyway. So that works. That's perfect. That works. All right. So it just makes it a little bit easier just to look at. All right. So right now, what we're looking at right here, if we add in, we're going to go to load in the studies just to look at this. We finally have a small slowdown in what it is the perpetual velocity right here. From here, you can see it. From here to here, there's a slight difference in the velocity of momentum to the upside. This much. Okay? This much. All right. It's not, we can't call home. We can't say we found the one. Not yet. Can't do that yet. It is a very interesting and spectacular drop so far in momentum, but that's only taking a look at the monthly. Let's take a look at the weekly. All right, we have an actual downturn from the very high of 78.27. Okay, this looks significant. It is day 3 in the month. Okay, it is day 3 in the month, day 4 of the week. All right, there's still plenty of things that can go wrong to the upside in terms of like whatnot or what, like in terms of this prediction. There's still plenty of wrong that can happen to the downside, rather positive to the upside if we're going with that nomenclature. But let's face it, everybody's expecting a downturn. And so how bad is it going to get? We don't exactly know yet. Not how bad, at least we don't know yet. We are still to the upside, 40% away from the 200-day moving average, 200-week moving average. Okay, so that's not necessarily a good measure. All right, so if we go to the day, we see a substantial drop in the RSI. Okay, we see finally a cross on the daily over the momentum. But does that mean anything? That's the thing that's important. Does it mean anything? Because we've been tricked before. We've been tricked before into thinking that it meant something. Okay, we were never as high as we are right now when the cross happened. Okay, this is a significant move. Okay, we went back quite a few days in terms of time, all right, but it's not over yet, right? It's not over yet. We can't declare victory in terms of dollar bulls and bond bulls. Bond and dollar bulls cannot claim victory yet. Okay, we have to be super vigilant about how we move forward, because there is gonna be some sort of pop back. Like there's always gonna be turbulence. It's not just gonna be a straight shot down. It can't be a straight shot down. It could be significant somewhere along the line where we've got a couple days in terms of movement, but we could easily in a couple days move back toward the normal, toward the upside, and it'll be as if nobody remembered anything, and it'll be but a memory, right? It's like, oh, remember when we dropped 5% that one day and then nothing happens? Like, yeah. It's like, well, what are you gonna do about it? Anyway, so here we are. It is still dropping at the moment. Okay, if we go to the 5-minute right here, you can see exactly how far we're still dropping at the moment. Okay, so here was a close. Okay, close to the upside, and as soon as we opened in Europe, it looks like zero confidence. Zero confidence. That's what that shows me right there. Zero confidence in the U.S. markets, in the U.S. indices. Zero confidence. Okay. Now, it's getting a little crazy. Okay, it's getting a little crazy. All right. So, how much do we pull back? All right. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that. Okay. Basically, at the high right here, we're going to create a drawing. How much do we pull back? We pulled back. We pulled back a total of, to the low of where we've been at right now, 6.76% from the high on the NASDAQ, okay? 10% is only 3% lower from right now, okay? It could do that overnight. It could dip that extra 3% overnight and then be right back to where we were, up 5%, and then be poised to make another high tomorrow, okay? Anything can happen, all right? There's nothing guaranteed. Nobody owes us a downturn. Nobody owes anything to anybody. Okay? Statistically speaking, can this continue? Yes. Yes, it can. Okay? But if we look at the 2 hour, we're already in the oversold. So we're actually due for a little pop back in the other direction. But considering how far up we are into the stratosphere in terms of RSI and all these other timescales, it's really difficult to say how much. Okay? In the monthly, we're still at 73. All right? Anything above a 70 is overbought. Okay? On the weekly, we're at 70. We're right there. On the daily, we've gone almost to the halfway point. Okay? This market has had a very tough time getting past 50%. Getting past 50% on the RSI to the downside, okay? Keep that in mind. All right, you guys can't see it right there, so I will bring it up for you. All right, so there's that right there. And if you see right here, that's about 54. Okay, that's about 52. Okay. Basically 51% has been the lowest that we've been on these little downturns to the upside. Okay, we have not broken anything significant yet to the downside. All right, it may look like it. All right, if I go ahead and remove all of these studies again, all right, if we draw a couple lines here, I'm gonna draw a line, just a regular old line, just nothing fancy, just a regular old line. Okay, what we've been doing essentially as a process is we've been pieing. Okay, we're still riding that line to the tooth. We can chip our tooth as to how close we are riding that line. Okay, if it starts turning up from this point forward, we're still in a bull market. We're still keeping trend. Nothing is broken. There's no kumbaya singing. There's no cigar smoking. There's nothing. There is nothing. Okay, even then, there have been lines that have been broken before where it looked like, oh, is this the one? Is this it? Have we done it? Here, maybe not there because it's like coinciding with this one right here. Like there's no point in time here where we can definitively say that we've broken trend, and then it just, you know, it just decides to, you know, all right, that's it, it's broken, like we're good to go to move lower consistently in a bear market fashion. None of that has happened, okay, up until this point since March 23rd, okay? None of that has happened to this point, all right? So we cannot fully say with any sort of certainty that we've entered a bear market, even though this move here is a heck of a move, okay? Even though the VIX moved up to 35.94, but guess what? It wasn't that far. Let's take a look at the VIX. You don't believe me? All right, let's take a look at the VIX. Let's take a look at the VIX right here. Recently we were as high as 44.45, okay? When was that? The date was, the high of that was 6:15. If we go back to the NASDAQ, 6:15, all right? 6:15, we're looking over here at the NASDAQ. 6:15 is what we're looking for right here, 6:15. That's it. 40 points on the VIX gave us this. Look at that. That's pitiful. That, let's take a look. Let's take a look at how much that was. That was 7.71%. It was a 7.71% drop. Right now, we're not even 7% down, and we're only at 30 points on the VIX, and we're moving lower. Okay, there isn't a substantial hike since overtime, since extended trading hours, to the lower side of any meaningful amount. Okay, we went up a little bit more, but like it's only this much. Okay, there hasn't been a substantial drop and or rise since basically the peak of 35.94, which is basically 36, all right, and moved down to basically 33. All right, what I'm saying is you have to be very careful. This could still be moving to the upside. The entire move to the downside could have been made. The entire retraction to keep moving forward could have been made in one day. It can happen, okay? So don't let your guard down. Don't be complacent, because the whole market's been essentially complacent to the upside. But don't you start being complacent and thinking that, all right, here we go. Let's dust off those shorts. We're gonna burn them, right? Like let's light these puppies up. Let's see how far they can go. Let's see these rockets, and let's see these rocket shorts. Let's see them ride, right? Like we can't do that yet, all right? Like you can have some shorts on. Just have your stops. 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 Have your stops ready. Have your stops ready, because it's not certain yet, okay? Even though this looks like it's breaking, these guys are tricky. These guys are tricky. They could just as likely say, well, look, you know, the body of the candle is still inside of the trend line. Like, you know, there's nothing to see here. You know, that's what they can say that, you know, they can say that. It's very tricky, all right? Just saying, we got to be very, very careful. So long as it clears this level tomorrow, which it's already started the tomorrow candle, because in Europe, etc., or whatnot, or in Asia, it's already tomorrow. You know, that's the way the world works, you know. So that's where we are right now. We're basically on trend line breaking watch at the moment, okay? And even if that happens, it could just be a function of pieing, okay? You know how that could be the case? Here, let me show you how that could be the case. All right, from here, this peak right here, we're going to draw a line. All right, I'm going to draw a line along the back side of this. Okay, that looks kind of significant. Okay, it did break it to the upside. All right, extend to the right. This broke it to the upside significantly. All right, and if we go ahead and we draw this as a channel, okay, we have here, we've got all this room to run to the downside for this to stay intact. You see what I'm trying to say here? Like, there's a lot of different ways that people can justify to themselves that this is still a very positive looking channel. Okay, there's a lot of ways that this thing can be drawn for the people to justify to themselves that we're okay, that this can still move forward in an upward fashion like nobody's business, just because. All right, it's just as likely that people can, you know, tell themselves, all right, this is it, this is the signal that I was waiting for, let's sell everything. Okay, just as likely as one is to happen, the other is also capable of happening as equally, statistically speaking. Okay, so just be careful, have your stops, be disciplined about how you're trading your money, etc., whatnot, and that's basically that. In terms of the TLT, I don't know exactly if I've been reading this incorrectly. Okay, if somebody in the comments can actually tell me, all right, I may have been reading this incorrectly, because this steep rise right here could have been the reaction to the Fed initially dropping rates down to 0.5 or 0.25 to 0%, right? This could have been it. That could have been the reaction, in which case a rising TLT, or iShares Trust 20-year on the bond ETF, a rising TLT means a shrinking yield, a raising bond price. Okay, because if that's the case, that would kind of explain what happened today in the market. Okay, because the whole time today, as we were dropping into oblivion, what I thought this was basically depicting a rising yield. A rising yield meaning that people were selling bonds and that the amount of money in the market was increasing. So the whole time I was thinking, all right, the market's going to come back. All right, the market's going to come back. And at no point in time did I see it come back. Either the VIX was too strong today, or nobody cares about having the cash to do anything. There's too many people with equities and they need to sell. That could be it, that the people selling out of bonds is nowhere near enough to overcompensate the people selling from the fear of a rising VIX. Okay, that could be what's happening, or I could just be reading it incorrectly, and that a rising TLT means a rising price of the bond and a diminishing yield. Because that's kind of what happened today for the actual bond market. There was a decreasing yield on the 10-year, etc. Not talking about this is the 20-year, but I think that's basically what it is. Because taking a look at that chart of the 10, or like seeing what happened today on the 10-year, that's what happened. Yield dropped today to significant lows, to 0.626 or something like that. And well, Bob's your uncle, that would be the explanation. So if that's the case, then I was kind of reading this incorrectly, so my bad. That's why I always say, don't fully take your opinion from me. I will say when I'm wrong. I will be as honest as I can about my mistakes, etc. But do not take my ranting, my point of view solely as your only metric by which you take a decision to trade the way that you trade. Please only use this as educational purposes only. Okay, I am not a financial advisor. I am not licensed in the state of California to make any recommendations whatsoever. Okay, please go see your own financial advisor that has a fiduciary duty to look out for your money. All right, and make sure you decide for yourself how to best manage your money. All right, all of those things are important. Now, looking into NQ also was a story of volume. Okay, volume was impressive today. Down here it shows you the volume. All right, if we take a look at the daily chart, all right, daily chart today was impressive, wholly impressive. All right, Did it match? It basically went above this right here, which was a previous high, which was a dip and a rebound. Today there was no rebound. Okay? So today there's every opportunity to have basically a continuation downward and continue this red printing into tomorrow down to maybe this level right here, which is 11,267. Okay, probabilistically that's what could happen. All right, but we could hit that in the next 10 minutes and then come back up, because international markets could be just as crazy. They could wind through. They can just as easily run through, hit some metric, and then come back up. Okay? Because this is oversold. Technically, on a technical basis, it hit 16. All right? That would be the equivalent of hitting an 85. 85 is pretty high on the overbought. Which is not to say that it can go over that, but it's really hard to. Okay? It hit 16. It's pretty close to an 85 on the overbought. This is a very low oversold, okay, on the RSI. This is heavily oversold at the moment, so just be careful. By the start of tomorrow morning, we could see opening higher. So again, be careful, do your due diligence, ask your financial advisor if you need to, have your stops in place, and do everything you can, because the waters are getting choppy. Things are getting a lot more hectic, okay? So look out there, and until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and take care. Bye.